Welcome to the House of Peace 15-minute food for thought Bible study. Today, I want to start a series of teaching entitled, It's Time to Wise Up. Would you say that with me? It's time to wise up. Now, what do I mean by that? It means to become or cause to become aware of or informed about something that you didn't know before. But because you know it now, you're going to make some changes to better your life or your circumstances. And that's so important that we understand that we wise up. Now, or if someone wises up to a situation or a state of affairs, they become aware of it and they take appropriate actions to make things better. Now, I want y'all to think about this. Just about everyone wants the good life. Wouldn't y'all agree with that? That's why we go to school in pursuit of the good life. We pick a career field in order to go after the good life. We buy homes in desirable towns and cities in furtherance of the good life. Some people even strategically pick their friends in light of who might best advance them toward the good life. You see, we all aspire to it. As a matter of fact, this generation in which we live in is the most prolific of all generations. That's because we have more college graduates today than ever before. Knowledge is exploding. Not only is knowledge exploding, technology is exploding. You know, you can go in the store and buy the latest gadget, and before you know it, you get it home and something else then came out new. It's funny. We travel farther, faster, and fly higher than any previous generation in history. We accumulate data as never before. The computer age is advancing at almost the speed of light. Yet, while knowledge in technology is increasing, guess what? Wisdom is decreasing. Even though our society is increasing in knowledge, it hasn't made our society a much better place to live. That's because many people's lives are in shambles. There's so many people's lives that are just stressed out and just too busy. The suicide rates are higher than ever before. More people have health problems than ever before. More people are on medication than ever before. Worry, stress, and depression have become a part of people's lifestyles. Even morals are at a record low. Yes, a record low. Morals. Divorce claims half of those who are married. So many families have become dysfunctional families, and the list goes on and on and on and on. And even though our country is considered to be the greatest, most powerful, and richest nation on the face of the earth, it is on a downward spiral. And the evidence is all around us, morally, socially, spiritually, economically, family-wise, with crime. Politicians of the same party can't agree upon anything anymore. And there are just a host of other things, just violence, marching, racial tensions. It's just so much going on. Now, why are all these things affecting so many people? That's because down through the years, even though our society has possessed great knowledge, remember that, I said great knowledge, we must admit that we are missing one very important ingredient. What is that ingredient? Wisdom. Which you type WISDOM, wisdom. In other words, in this day, in this age of information, knowledge is plentiful, but wisdom is scarce. Let me say it again. Knowledge is plentiful, but wisdom is scarce. Now, what do I mean by that? Wisdom means far more than knowing a lot, but it is the basic attitude that affects every aspect of our life That's because wisdom gives us the ability to make decisions based on discernment and judgment. You see, you can know something, but that don't mean that you're going to accomplish certain things that you would like to accomplish. You got to know how to apply that knowledge. This is what Proverbs chapter 4, verse 7 through 8 says. It says, wisdom is supreme. Therefore get wisdom. Though it cost all you have, get understanding. Esteem her, and she will exalt you. Embrace her, and she will honor you. You see, life itself is a school, and you are meant to learn every day from it. Let me say it again. Life itself is a school, and you are meant to learn every day from it. That's why we must be learning each day so that we can wise up. Once again, we got to wise up. We got to become wiser, not just in knowledge, but the ability to use that knowledge in the way that we need to. You see, we need wisdom in decision making. We need wisdom in choosing friends, in developing our skill. Wisdom plays a key role in shaping our character and even our personality. Having wisdom or lacking the same will pretty much determine our success in life, spiritually and otherwise. Therefore, if you want to succeed in the school of life, you need more than knowledge. Let me say it again. If you want to succeed in the school of life, you need more than knowledge. You need wisdom. The kind of the world, because the kind of the world that we're living in and the kind of problems that we're facing, we really need to know how to make wise decisions. We need to know how to navigate through life. Steve N. Wagner says, wisdom is important to God because he gives it. Wisdom is important to the devil because he hates it. But wisdom is important to us because we need it. You see, we are human. We all have great possibilities to make wrong choices, and we all have made wrong choices. Sometimes we may wait too long, or we may pay too much, or we may say the wrong thing, or we may get involved with the wrong people, or things that causes us heartache and pain. How many of you have had things you said, man, if I had to do that all over again, I would do that differently, but it's too late. Now, some of you are making difficult decisions this week, and some of you don't know it, but you will have a major decision tomorrow. See, life is full of choices. It's just full of choices, okay? But all of us have to make choices every day. And we need to make wise choices. No matter what age we are or what stage of life we're in, we still find ourselves confronted with a series of choices each and every day. Now, some decisions are trivial, like what TV program to watch, or what do we want to eat for lunch or dinner or even breakfast, okay? Or what job, or then there are other decisions that are important to us, like what job do we take, or what house do we live in, or who do we marry? That might be an important choice. Or how do we invest our money, or how do we make wise decisions, or how do we advise our children, how do we raise our children? It's just so many important decisions that need to be made. You see, we have a lot of important choices that we make each and every day. You see, as I said, life is a series of choices. I got to keep saying that. Life is a series of choices. Now, decisions are difficult for some people, and they seem easier for others, okay? Some people can make a snap decision and it doesn't bother them at all. But other people, you know what? They're just looking at a menu and it's a major decision. Sometimes I get so frustrated going out with people, you know, that you eat And, we've been sitting there for 15 minutes to wait to get our, to get seated. And, we didn't look at the menu. And then when we sit down, they have to take another 15 minutes to decide what they're going to eat. It's just something. Okay. It really is something. Okay. But like I said, some people, they can just make decisions just like that. And so decisions are something we have to learn to make, because our life is determined by the choices we make, or determine the direction of our life and the destiny of our life, okay? Somebody lost their job because they didn't make wise decisions. Somebody made a marriage is not working because they did something wrong that was not a wise decision. You know what Proverbs chapter 4, verse 26 says? It says, give careful thought to the paths for your feet, and be steadfast in all your ways. Let me say it again. Give careful thought to the paths for your feet, and be steadfast in all your ways. You see, some decisions have far-reaching consequences, and other decisions are not so far-reaching. But many of the decisions that we make determine our character, it determines our destiny, and it determines our eternity. Some people, like I said, can make snap decisions and it doesn't bother them at all. Okay? But we have to learn. It is so important that we learn. You see, some people, because they cannot make wise decisions, they procrastinate about a lot of things. Okay? But you see, we need to know how to make decisions and make wise decisions. Now, one of the mistakes that people make is that they make decisions without counsel. A lot of people who are Christians, they don't make wise decisions because they don't seek out the counsel of God. Look what it says here in Proverbs chapter 3, verses 6 through 7. It says, in all of your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and shun evil. Also, in other passages of scriptures in the book of Proverbs, the writer over and over warns us about depending upon man's wisdom rather than seeking God's wisdom and making right decisions. Many of us in our life have seen the dire consequences when we depend on our own wisdom and look at circumstances from the perspective of man rather than making decisions, seeking the counsel of God and looking at things from the perspective of God. This is what Proverbs chapter 28, verse 26 says. It says, he who trusts in himself is a fool, but he who walks in wisdom is kept safe. It really means he who trusts in himself and self alone apart from God, who simply trusts in his own intelligence and his own feelings apart from God. You see, if you trust in yourself, your feelings can be deceiving and circumstances can be deceiving. And I want you to think about that. Think about people who end up with the wrong person because they made a decision based on their feelings. Because do you know this? Things are not always what they seem to be. Would you say that with me? Things are not what they always seem to be. Things are not always what they appear to be. You can be fooled by people. You can be fooled by stockbrokers. You can be fooled by mankind. You can be fooled even by your own intuition. So he says we need more than our own intelligence and our own feelings. He says we need to walk in wisdom. And wisdom in proverb means God's wisdom, God's counsel. Now, I'm getting ready to wrap this up. And next week, I want to really talk about what is wisdom, or what's the difference between wisdom and knowledge. But let me say this part. What is wisdom? Wisdom is the ability to see life from God's perspective and then know the best course of action to take. Okay? And that's what I want to talk about next week, okay? How do we do that? How do we see things from God's perspective and then follow the best actions to take? Okay, that is so important. Because if I were to tell you that you could have anything you want, that God would come down to you and say, I have been watching your life. You deserve a break today. You can have anything you want. You can have one wish. What would that wish be for? And we're going to talk about that because that happened to somebody in the Bible. As a matter of fact, this will be the thing that I want you to study. I want you to study when Solomon asked for wisdom. All right, our time is up. God bless you. Look forward to seeing you next week because it's time to wise up.